Joining us now, Joe DiGenova is with us. DiGenova and Tunsing, and his partner in crime and in life, Victoria Tunsing. Welcome, both of you.
Greetings from Columbus, Sean. Indiana.
One last point. Chuck Schumer threw out a statement. This story must not be used as a pretext for the corrupt purpose of firing the Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein in order to install an official who will allow the president to interfere with the special counsel investigation. And he says General Mattis, Kelly, numerous other White House officials, cabinet officials have been reported to say critical things of the president without being fired. This isn't a critical thing. He's talking about removing the president and taping the president of the United States.
Yeah, hey, Sean, I'm going to correct you. He did not deny it. He said, I was only kidding. That's really important for people to know. He did not say, I never said that. He said, just kidding.
Well, that's what his argument is now. Oh, just kidding. Maybe I ought to do this, but just kidding. That doesn't sound like the way that McCabe wrote it up as a just kidding memo.
The point here is that from the very beginning, when Rosenstein appointed Mueller, it was clear that he had acted out of pique. He said in the New York Times article about 2 months ago, where he leaked the story, that he was embarrassed when he found out that the president had alluded to the Russian investigation in his interview with Lester Holt. In fact, Rosenstein was looking for any reason to make himself look good because that's all he's about. It was fairly obvious that there was no justification for the appointment of Mueller, and now we know, because of Rosenstein's statements about using the 25th Amendment to remove the president with the assistance of cabinet members, that he was engaged in a soft coup, not very soft in my opinion, to remove the president. Jeff Sessions should fire him today. He should be out of that building. The U.S. Marshals should escort him out of the building. If he stays one more day, I just can't imagine that he can stay any longer. By the way, his denial, which was printed in response to the New York Times story, is a joke. He says there is no basis currently to invoke the 25th Amendment. He does not deny what Andrew McCabe says in those memos. Can you imagine Andrew McCabe, weasel number one, now ratting out weasel number two? This is like a mafia story.
Well, I'm reading that line, but let me be clear about this. Based on my personal dealings with the president, there is no basis to invoke the 25th Amendment. Do you think he was parsing his words?
It depends on what is, John.
Yeah, I missed that, and I feel really stupid now that you pointed it out to me. Thanks for embarrassing the host on national radio with 590 stations. I really appreciate it.
That's what lawyers are supposed to do, read that kind of language. Let me tell you something else bizarre. Here, listen to this scenario. Everything that Rod put into that memo to fire Comey was accurate. He listed all kinds of violations that Comey committed, like holding the press conference and discussing the evidence, something that's never, ever done. He said everything he stated in there was not only accurate, but he went to bipartisan people. He went to Democrats who criticized Comey in the memo. Then he gives the president the memo, and then he gets heat from the Democrats on the Hill. And then, only then, does he react and say, oh, I was embarrassed. I really didn't mean it.
I've got to be honest. It is just unbelievable. So the process should be very clear here in terms of what should happen. This is now this is a test again, but he's failed every test leading up to this. If you're Jeff Sessions tonight, Rod Rosenstein comes in, oh, it's just a joke, I didn't really mean it, and Andrew's probably just mad because Andrew knows that there is a grand jury that's been impaneled, et cetera, et cetera. So he's not going to do anything.
The problem for Jeff Sessions is that he doesn't have any choice. I know that there's supposed to be a meeting tonight when the president comes back. He's on Air Force One, I think, right now, coming back from whatever he was doing today. I think it was a VA event. This is a singularly distinct moment for Attorney General Sessions. He has, as you said aptly, Sean, he has not been up to any of the previous occasions. He could save his job. if he fires Rosenstein tonight.
All right,
but he won't.
Why do you think the president met with the DOJ? Apparently he was getting calls from key allies, he says. I can imagine who they are. You know, why do I suspect that, and I've heard this has gone on for many, many years, in the cases where surveillance is illegal, oftentimes allied countries of ours will do the surveillance for them, they'll do it to us, and then we get reports back and forth. Is that true?
Yep.
That's
yes,
true.
It is.
So
yes.
When I was a justice, that happened. Yes.
So why do I suspect that the countries, whichever countries they are, key allies of ours, that they have been doing perhaps some what would be illegal on our part or on the part of our intelligence, and maybe passing on key information that our government has wanted? And that's, I can't think of any other reason why they would be engaging the president on this matter, not to release or declassify or give away this unredacted material. So I assume that they may be complicit.
Hey, Sean, they may have been told that there's certain information that they are concerned about, but it doesn't mean that people did something illegal in their respective countries. There were times like we were prevented from going into, I think, certain sectors in when Berlin was divided, and we couldn't do it. And so then we would ask the Germans to do it because they could under their law. So there are technicalities in individual countries' laws that prevent you from doing something, but it wouldn't shock the conscience. It wouldn't make you think, oh, this is really bad stuff. It's just technical kind of stuff that they can carry out.
But here's the point as well. The Australians are up to their scuppers in this through the former ambassador, and so is the UK and MI6 up to their scuppers in this with regard to Halper and Mifsud. And there are things and activities which they were asked to do by McCabe and Strzok, which they did. So they have what are called equities in having their role not mentioned. I don't have any problem with that. I just want to know who the Americans were.
Well, I want to know who the Americans were. But listen, you know, intentions mean everything. If you go to an ally and you say, I need you to surveil Joe DiGenova, and they do it for you, and then you get the information, really it's a backdoor way of breaking the law, isn't it?
No, that would be illegal. That would be illegal. You can't set up somebody to do something that is per se illegal for your own
but
good.
with the capability of technology, can't there be broad, sweeping intelligence pickups in even entire states and regions? They have the capacity to do that. Then, of course, you can filter through it for keywords, key names if you want, and then you can get any information you want out of it.
Sure.
So the reality is there is a way to bypass the Fourth Amendment to our Constitution and allow allies to do the dirty work for you.
And the way they did it in the case of Carter Page was they lied and said that he was being recruited by the Russians and was thus becoming the agent of a foreign power, which they knew to be false. So that's exactly right, Sean.
Yeah,
but it was to our own courts that they lied.
Well, we now know that 4 Pfizer warrants were 4 examples of a fraud committed on courts. We just know it.
Oh, absolutely, and categorically, that is exactly what happened. They lied to a FISA court. The courts, by the way, have figured this out, and that's why they favor the release of the information. They said it's up to the executive branch, and we have no objection.
Mm-hmm. By the way, from a senior DOJ official, this is just breaking from Fox, the meeting that is referenced took place on May the 16th. In attendance were Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe, Lisa Page, and other career DOJ folks. The official says all of them have been talked to about this meeting after the story, including one who now, I guess, works at Uber. That's what it says. Anyway, there were typed memos from McCabe and Lisa Page about the meeting. Pages were more detailed than McCabe's, but they both mentioned this moment where Rosenstein yells at McCabe about wearing a wire. The official with direct knowledge from Rosenstein says that McCabe and Rosenstein were going back and forth at each other, and the conversation got very heated, and McCabe was saying that Rosenstein was getting in the way of aggressively investigating the president and his administration in the wake of the Comey firing. Rosenstein was saying that McCabe was shooting from the hip and going overboard. In the heat of the moment, he said, "What do you want me to do, Andy, wear a wire?" This official said that it might not have been a direct quote, but he said it several times. "You want me to wear an effing wire?" And then said it again. "You want me to wear an effing wire? Are you serious?" And Rosenstein says something like, "Yeah, I'm serious. What do you expect us to do?" And said he's incredulous.
Interesting. In the Times piece, it refers to Rosenstein's behavior as bizarre and erratic.
Yeah.
And indeed it is.
Yeah. All right, last word, Joe. You get the last word today, not Victoria.
Fire the SOB tonight.
That's Jeff Sessions' job. Jeff, do your job. All right, thank you both.